Niajeni wana sauti, welcome to another great episode of the Voice KE podcast, and today we are still here at the Global Landscape Forum, Greening Landscape Forum, where we are talking about the greening landscapes here, especially here in Kenya and different communities around the world. And today I also have an amazing guest who is with me. He's from Germany and from the African Wildlife Foundation, where they're ensuring that they keep our ecosystem intact, isn't it? So he's from Germany. His name is Johannes, yeah. So is going to talk to us about his experience here in Kenya. He has been here in Kenya for around right now 3 weeks, that is, isn't it? Yeah. And you have been able to engage with a lot of communities. So he's going basically to tell us about his experience, how it has been, and what are some of the engagements that he has been, and some of the policies that he has seen should be implemented in the country. So welcome.
Yeah, thank you for the introduction.
Yeah.
So, the African Wildlife Foundation, I work with the youth program.
Yeah.
So it's like a common figure that like 70% of Africans are under the age of 35.
Yeah.
So we're focusing on that age group and especially on young learners.
Yeah.
That go to school, primary and secondary school. And we have a project that is rolling out in the Voi landscape. So it's around the National Park of Tsavo West and Tsavo East. And we are engaging with around 170 schools, which like in total makes around 80,000 learners. And so we're teaching them about like climate change, what is it, how can we adapt, and it's also about maybe what can we do at the school, maybe how can we provide food, also what can we grow, what kind of vegetables, how can we fetch water, like water harvesting. And so it's a lot of different things that we're trying to touch on, and also the focus is not just on the learners but also on the teachers, and that they're getting trainings and workshops, and then also to give on that knowledge to the learners.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing, considering that here in Kenya we usually start our agriculture learning when we are usually around Form 1. That's when we get introduced to proper agriculture. Before that we are learning all carbohydrates, proteins and all that. Yeah, is this something you also experience in Germany?
So in Germany, I would say it's also just getting introduced in the schools and in the plans, what the teachers are going to teach. Climate change is also an emerging issue in Germany. We also have floodings, droughts, extreme heats, wildfires. And it's everyone can like take a little part or do some action, to fight climate change. And so it's really about enabling the young people especially, because then they can also give that knowledge on to their parents, and they just basically grow up with it.
You grow up with it, yeah. So basically you have been here for 3 weeks. How has your engagement been, and how are people receiving this particular engagement you're having with the communities?
So I feel like it's a very positive feedback. Also the schools that we visited, they're very grateful that we come there and see like how they're doing, what's their current situation. And also like the individuals, when I come here and tell them like what my interest is here, they're very open, Kenyan people, and very kind, and they help me if I have any kind of problem. Also in the work environment, it's very professional, and they just take me as a member of the team and don't really look so much on what's outside.
What are some of the challenges you are facing when you're trying to pass this message into these children in these particular communities? What are some of the challenges you're facing when you're trying to do that?
The challenges that we're facing is also most people that, burn down trees for charcoal, or like hunt wild animals or do poaching. They don't do it voluntarily, they do it because they're in need of money. So we're also trying to teach the children, if you maybe can grow some plants back home and you sell those, you can also make some money. And have a good impact for the environment.
Yeah, and what are some of these particular ideas that you're channeling into the children, and how are they receiving them? Yeah.
So climate change, I especially feel like for young learners is a hard thing to grasp, so we're trying to sensitize them that what is it, where does it come from, and especially what we can do against it.
And are they receiving it? Because climate change has a lot of difficult terms. You're starting to tell a child about sustainability. You're starting to tell a child about those particular hard terms. Yeah. How are you ensuring that they grasp these particular and they get to understand the nitty-gritty of those particular projects?
I also feel like that also the young learners, they know, especially in the Tsavo region, it's a very dry region. The last rain was there in April, so they're already growing up, with these negative effects of climate change. So now I think our vision is to connect these negative effects that they have also with enabling them to take action against climate change.
How are they receiving? They receiving it positively?
Yes, they are.
Projects?
Yes, they are. So we're rolling out also further projects. Which are going to be around competitions for art or poetry or something like this. So we can also on scholarships. So there's also people who are taking conservation seriously, also have a chance to pursue maybe a career in conservationism in the future.
So when they get into this particular program, does it have an ending date, or have you chosen a particular bracket, or is they're just going through with it to the end?
So the project just started, and so we're already half a year in, and it's supposed to be 4 years, maybe longer, we'll see. And so because we're just at the start of the project, it's a developing thing, so we don't know yet how long in the end it's going to be, but it's going to be some midterm effects also, not just short term.
They're going to be long term effects for that. Yeah. But are you talked about policies before we came live on this particular podcast, and you're talking about policies. Yeah. Are there policies that you're putting in place to ensure that this conversations keeps going, that at the end of the day, when you leave this particular area and you leave that particular place after those 4 years, that the conversation will keep going and the people will keep engaging in these particular projects that you have put in place?
So the question is about the policies
that are put in place to ensure it keeps going. The conversation doesn't just end when you just leave.
On the policy side here, I'm not sure because I'm not familiar with that yet. But with also like teaching the teachers, like training the teachers for workshops. So there's going to be lasting effect, and it's not just when what I didn't mention yet is that we do this project together with WCK, so Wildlife Clubs of Kenya. So where the children from a young age can sign up and get like extra materials if they're interested. So it's also if their particular learner is interested in finding out more about conservationism and all the species we have here, they definitely have that opportunity.
So they get also to learn about the species so that they can be familiar with them and their importance in the ecosystem.
Yes.
And of course, because you're in Africa, you have I don't know if you have had this, but you hear like a country like, for example, Namibia and Zimbabwe, they are ending up killing animals as a last option to be able to sustain themselves. How does this make you feel as a person who has been at the Credit Africa Wildlife Foundation and also engages with animals, and what do you think should be done better to ensure that our ecosystem is still in place and it doesn't have to be used as a source of harm?
That's a good question you're asking, because the thing is that especially like Namibia, also a very water scarce region, and so the animals, like especially like big elements like elephants, they drink a lot of water, and then the people also, the community around there, they need water. So if the elephants don't find water in the national park, they go outside, and try to get water from the communities, from the people that have been living there. So yeah, it's a very sensitive issue because in the end, the people also need to benefit, from the national parks that are around there, and not just get the negative effects. So yeah, needs to be a lot of work done.
Yeah. Do you recommend some of the policies that people could look at to ensure that this doesn't happen and have a sufficient ecosystem?
And now, from my expertise so far, I won't be able to comment on that one.
Yeah, it's okay, it's allowed, but it's so heartbreaking when you see such things, and especially as a climate and environmental advocate, it's usually so heartbreaking that a country has to resort to such things, but we also pray that we hope for the best, that it doesn't have to get to that place. It doesn't have to get to that place. It doesn't get to that place. And this is by ensuring, like what you are doing, that we train our children from a very young age, not only when they are grown-ups. When they are grown-ups, it's usually treated as an option rather than a necessity. But when you study at a lower age, it's usually like a necessity. Like people understand like how you have to learn English, how you have to learn Swahili, how you have to know maths, because it's from an early age. It's like it's important, to us. And I'm so grateful for what you are doing in those particular communities, and we hope that you continue to do that. Yeah. So as we come to a conclusion, would you kindly tell us what is your call for action today? As we come to a conclusion.
My goal for action today is to also further engage in the African Wildlife Foundation, because I'm just doing an internship here at the moment, and so maybe in the future also keep in contact with them and always know what kind of projects they have, and also maybe when I start working, in Germany, always know I know an organization that is really doing good work, which I saw on the ground, and maybe there's ways of supporting them.
Yeah. Thank you so much for talking to us. Thank you. Amazing.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.